time here in Liberia, 4 p.m. on the dot is 1600 hours, if you want to put it that way. Good afternoon from Liberia, wherever it is you're listening to us from. This is Spoon 107.5 FM. We're also live on Super 95.5, Fabric 101.1, plus a host of other stations relaying us across Liberia. Today is the 19th day of October 2023. 9 days exactly to the day that Liberians went to the polls on last week, Tuesday, to elect a president, vice president, 73 representatives, and 15 senators. Mind you, there were incumbent representatives and senators who did go to recontest their positions to be given a renewed mandate. But from the look of things, many did go, and only few shall return. Let me put in my African show voice. Many did go in the year 2023. Many did go to face the epic battle of re-election. Only a few will return. You need to hire me so I can do commercial for you. All right, so folks, you're welcome wherever it is you're listening to us from. This is 2023 Elections Updates 360 here across the Spoon Network. My name is Diamond Slanger, and you definitely welcome. Yes, the standard bearer of the opposition, the main opposition party, the Unity Party, Ambassador Joseph Yuman Boykai, just addressed the nation, and we'll be doing a recap of exactly what did he say. Also, we'll be going through the list, of those who they just now might be returning to the legislature. They've been given NTR for now, whatever you want to call it. We'll be reading out that list for you, and we'll also give you news of already complaints being filed. Those who felt, and one of those people is Chief Moses Colley, who contested there in Lofa County for the senatorial position on the ticket of the CDC. He has filed a complaint. We'll be telling you all about what his complaint is about. On the show at exactly 4:30, we'll be cutting across to the National Elections Commission, so that we can bring you updates on the nation's elections, body. That's the NEC. So wherever it is you're listening to us from, you're welcome. Kindly check your device. Andrew Soso, Joboyan, please check your device and let us know. Give us feedbacks as to how good the audio quality is. So it's forecasted to be a day of thundery showers, but with light winds across Liberia. From 4 p.m. this afternoon is expected to we expected to have some thundery showers, but with clear skies. We did experience it rain, hours earlier, and that's gonna run through to 5 p.m. and then at 6 p.m. the rain subsides, and you have some light rain showers throughout to 7 p.m. and through the rest of the night. Brace yourselves for thundery showers across Liberia. But our main focus is definitely going to be pinned on the headquarters of the National Elections Commission, where today the NEC has announced that they will be releasing additional progressive tally reports. So whether or not they'll complete 100% of the country, that is not going to happen, because remember, 4 polling places in Biolontu, there in Nimba County, will be going to the polls on tomorrow, Friday. So with those results being withheld, I should say, until that election, that rerun is conducted in that part of Nimba County, you wouldn't still get 100% of the presidential tally reports coming in today. But whatever numbers, whatever updated figures the NEC is going to provide us today, you definitely be put in a front row seat here at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission. Our production team, they are going to do that as well. Okay, so Ambassador Joseph Yuman Boykai, the standard bearer of the main opposition Unity Party, he addressed the nation about 1 hour ago, where he did give not somewhat of a long address, you could say medium range, mid-range in terms of the length, and what was contained in his message. Well, the Unity Party's standard bearer firstly started off by thanking Liberians, those who went to the polls, in their very, 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 very huge numbers, to vote not just the Unity Party, but to participate in the process as well. He also did thank the international observers, the ECOWAS, the EU, the US, and others who made their presence felt during the polls, the conduct of elections in the country, And then he went on to say, President Weah, your days are numbered. That is what the main contender, whose sole aim is to boot out, is to depose, to take away the chair, the presidential chair from now President George Manuel Weah, have said, beware, your days are numbered. Those were the words from Ambassador Joseph Human Boyka, that President Weah's days are numbered. He even went on to say that he's going to form a government of inclusion. He's going to have his government comprising of components from all around the country, whether on gender levels, whether on religious levels, from whatever party. He says he's going to form a government of inclusion, a government of national unity, a government of diversity, to put the umbrella over everybody and then shield them and form that kind of government of national unity. Well, he also called on the Liberian opposition to join in this fight and asked partisans, sympathizers, well-wishers, non-partisans alike, to come out when the rerun date is announced by the NEC to vote, that they shouldn't feel intimidated. He mentioned the fact that there was some intimidation in the October 10 polls and all of that, but he has called on Liberians to rekindle that spirit of wanting change, to come out and vote to take President Weah chair, from him, to say, get on the chair. Our time to sit down. That was what he said in total. He says he's going to tackle Kush. He's going to tackle the Kush epidemic in our country. He's going to make sure the Kush infestation is gotten rid of. And he closed by his usual mantra: think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia. But if you sit and dissect this speech, Ambassador Joseph Human Boyka spoke in clear language and in codes. The coded part is the forming a government of national inclusion. So he's telling opposition figures that, look, come and join us. Come and join us. When we have gotten rid of President Weah, which is the common denominator that we all share, we will share the government and have everybody included. Whether you male, you female, you anything else in between, whether you Christian or you Muslim or you Buddhist or whatever it is, come. That is another code for saying we are open for negotiations. We'll be reaching out to you. There are interests that you have. Remember, this second round that is coming is all about concessions. What you can give, what you can let go of, what's the demands of those that are coming to join you, what your partisans will be able to let go of. Now, it's not about, oh, my own person, one the other one, so you have to give to receive. So diplomatically, in a coded form, that was what he was saying. That come, let's come and tarry together. Let's fight together. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a government of national inclusion. So he also spoke about, shall I say the code breaker? You didn't hear it, man. Yeah, he also spoke about the issue of the turnout, which I spoke about, encouraging his people not to be deterred, not to feel weary, not to feel like, we did our best. We tried to oust this government in the first round. It didn't work. So what's the need of going to a second round? I feel tired. I'm not going to vote. He has said, if you did it before, you should come out and do it again. Whether or not President Weah is going to address the nation or not before the second round date is announced by the NEC officially, when the NEC shall announce that there will be a runoff in the country, whether we'll see or hear President Weah also address the nation, having garnered so far 43% plus over, to tell his people thank you as well. But the main opposition candidate in the country, he has spoken. And he has spoken and said the Unity Party is opened, is opened to having everybody on board. All right. So that's that. So let's talk about those who will be returning and those who will not be returning to Capitol Hill once the 55th legislature is inducted and convened. These are the lawmakers, unless otherwise they go and file complaints to the various magistrates in their counties, and those complaints there's merit and is upheld, and the ruling or the pronouncement is overturned based on the magnitude. But as it stands, these are the lawmakers who will not be returning. The list long. The list long. Remember, I started off by saying many did go to the battle, left Capitol Hill, and went in the trenches, various counties, various districts to renew their mandates. But only a few would be returning successfully, having defended their seats. But here below, as I read, is the list as of now of those members of the 54th legislature that wouldn't be returning to the Capitol. House Speaker, start with number 1. House Speaker Buffer Chambers. Representative Moses Akaros Gray. Representative Solomon George. 3 generous. Taken from Capitol Hill just like that. 3 top generous. Representative C.B. Bashel. Representative Lawrence Morris. Representative Rostalin Swakoko Dennis. Representative Jimmy Smith. Representative Johnson Waikolo. Representative Maramun B. Fofana. Representative Clarence Masakwe. Representative Francis Humanly. Representative Berin D. Howard. Representative Prince O.S. Tokpa. Representative Roger Doma. Representative Edward Kafia. Representative, that's Senator Vani Sherman. So Senator Vani Sherman, after Madame Daba Vapla, getting comment from here, he said he has retired from politics. So Senator, now retired Senator Vani Sherman. Representative Toporisa Taponwe. Representative Vincent S.T. Willie. Representative Larry P. Yankwe. Senator Marsha Dennis. Representative George Bole Sr. Senator Morris Setuma. May his soul rest in peace, Senator Daniel Neten, who departed. Representative Alex Chasia Grant. Senator Jonathan Kape. Senator Steve Zago. Senator Komene Wise. Senator Milton Tiaji. Representative Alfred Kwawu. Representative Haja Fatah Sayer. Representative Vin Finda Bori Lasana. Representative Isaac Rowland. Representative Mary Kawa. Representative Kanye Westlow. Representative Joseph Matthews. Representative Bob Sharif. Representative Papa Colette. Representative Albert Hills. Representative Henson Kiazulu. Representative Emercy Kamara, and Representative Mambu Soni. Those are the names of lawmakers who went to battle to retain their seats and they lost. They wouldn't be returning unless there is an overturn or an overrule, or they file their complaints and those complaints have merits, and either there is a rerun or there is a recount or whatever it is, and they end up as winners. Because the process, you can file a complaint to the hearing officer. If you're not satisfied with the hearing officer's verdict, you go to the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission. If you're not satisfied with that, you then go to the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, which is the final place you can go to get justice or redress. And if that doesn't suit you, then you have to lose that seat. So there is still the process of complaints being filed. And talking about one of such complaints, I told you about Chief Moses Colley, who contested there in Lofa County to become senator, and he was unsuccessful. He has filed a complaint. He has filed a complaint. He has rejected the results from the Lofa County senatorial race and has filed a complaint to the elections magistrate there in Lofa, calling for the recount in 9 out of the 424 polling places in Lofa County. So he has said he does not accept the results that did, gave Momo Cyrus a commanding lead. And since he was pronounced the senator-elect of Lofa County, Moses Colley has now filed a complaint and said he wants a recount because the Moses Colley, that's Momo Cyrus won with 37,621 votes, and Moses Colley was able to accumulate 37,200 votes. So he's now calling for 9 polling places for a recount. Now 9 polling places. Yes, Senators Henrik Topa and Jim Tonola also not returning to the Senate. So thank you for updating that list. Let me do that update. Senator Henrik Topa of Bong County is now returning, as well as Senator Tonola of Margibi County is also not returning. Henrik Topa lost to Johnny Kwehi, and Senator Jim Tonola lost to Nathaniel McGill. So there you have it. I'll update that list. Thank you for the additional 2 names, lawmakers who will not be returning. If you look at it from the senatorial perspective, almost 80% of those senators who went for re-election, they're not returning to the Capitol building. 9 years seems like a hell of a long time, and then people tend to get tired and people do not return. As I said, we'll be going to the headquarters of the National Elections Commission once we can get our team their feed that they are indeed ready. We'll recap the provisional results. That's the progressive tally reports released by the NEC there on yesterday. We'll also be giving you the figures as released by the NEC on yesterday. We'll go for a short break to be right back. This is 2023 Elections Updates 360. My name is Diamond Slanga on behalf of the entire production team. Thank you for taking up your time to watch and follow. We'll go for this break to be right back. Okay, folks, welcome back. This is Elections Updates 360 across the Spoon Network. We're live also there in Nimba County on Voice of Nimba in Ganta City, as well as Radio BKS there in Butwo, Nimba. Trust 88.7 FM there in that's Bombing County, and Premium FM is in Bong County. Premium FM is in Bong County, also relaying this broadcast as well. Premium 98.1 FM in Bong County. So we'll be going to the National Elections Commission once we get feed from the headquarters of the National Elections Commission to bring you today's press briefing once the NEC is ready to address the nation through its chairperson, Madam Deviata Brown Lasana, and her board of commissioners. But before that, the NEC have said they will be going live at 4:30 p.m. and we'll be there to make sure you don't miss anything. But yesterday, the NEC did go on to release preliminary results, the national tally as of October 18, 2023, 5:20 p.m. And this is the 2023 presidential elections results. So let me put it on the screen for those of you watching us as well, so that you can be updated and abreast with these figures as they were released by the National Elections Commission. So there you have it on your screen, so you can go through these results as we are doing as well. So these are results as they were released yesterday by the National Elections Commission. 99.3% of the 100% so far tallied and reported by the National Elections Commission. 99.3% of polling places across the country being reported so far by the National Elections Commission. So you have just 0.7% of polling places across the country yet to have been reported by the National Elections Commission. So out of the 99.93%, the NEC has received 5,886 out of the 5,890 polling places across the country, left with the 4 polling places in Biolontuo, Nimba County. They will be going to the polls on tomorrow to vote. So minus those 4, the NEC has received 5,886 polling places report from across the country, left 4. The total votes, valid plus invalid, stands at 1,947,786. That is 78.81. And this is the results. These are the results, from the 2023 president and vice president race. So you have candidate Wia George Mane of the CDC accumulating 803,000 votes, 674. So 803, 674 votes, constituting 43.84%. I'll go over that again. Wia George Mane, CDC, 803,674. That is 803,674 votes, constituting 43.84%. You have Boykai Joseph N of the Unity Party, the main opposition party, as per numbers garnered from the just ended polls in our country, places the Unity Party as the main opposition party in the country number-wise. So Boykai Joseph N, UP, 796,313 votes, constituting 43.44%. Edward Appiton, or Appiton Junior Edward of the GDM, as it appears on the NEC's website, is Appiton Edward Junior W of the GDM, accumulating 40,225 votes, placing him in third position, constituting 2.20% of the total number of valid votes tallied and reported so far. At number 4, you have Kamara Senior Lucinin F, ARCOP, with 35,977 votes, constituting 1.96%. Cummins Alexander Benedict of the CPP, 29,611 votes, constituting 1.62%. And to complete the top six, you have Gonglo Tewan Say of the LPP with 26,225 votes, constituting 1.43%. So there you have it from the updated figures there from the National Elections Commission. We are waiting, as I said, we're waiting on the NEC to begin the press conference. Our team is already set and ready. So once the NEC folks are ready, we'll bring you live proceedings from the headquarters of the National Elections Commission. And talking about that, let's cross over to the headquarters of the NEC, where we do see the commissioners as of now. They are still playing music. I see the chairperson, Madam Deviata Bralasana, is taking a sip from a cup. Yesterday, she presented a different posture, a more jovial posture, other than what she had presented since they started releasing progressive tallied reports. So let's across now and go to the headquarters of the National Elections Commission. We'll keep the video on the screen. Once they're ready to address the country, we'll definitely be bringing you the audio component. But as I can tell you, all of the commissioners, all the members of the Board of Commissioners are seated and they will address the nation any moment from now. So this is the Spoon Network's coverage. Let's put the audio again and see if they're ready. So once the NEC is ready, we'll bring you the audio component. But all of the members of the Board of Commissioners are seated. And once this address, this press briefing gets underway, we'll bring you the audio.
Republic of Liberia, the National Elections Commission, Madam Chairperson, Madam Co-Chairperson,
members of the Board
and
of
members of the Board of
Commissioners,
Commissioners,
our local and
international partners,
election
observers,
monitoring groups, members of the Fourth Estate, we'd like to welcome you once again to this daily press briefing following the 10th October 2023 general elections. Madam Chairperson, Brown Lanson, will address this press briefing.
Madam Co-Chair, fellow commissioners, distinguished stakeholders, fellow Liberians, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the headquarters of the National Elections Commission and to the Commission's daily press briefings. You are aware that we reported yesterday a rerun of the presidential, senatorial, and representative elections at 2 polling places in precinct Bio Lontuo in Electoral District 4 in Nimba County, which will be held tomorrow, 20 October 2023. The Commission wishes to inform you again that all is set for the conduct of these elections. According to the magistrate, the Liberian National Police has already deployed officers to the area. Meanwhile, NEC permanent and temporary staff are also being deployed today. Meanwhile, the Commission wishes to inform you that there has been 7 arrests made so far from the disruption of the counting process in Bio-Lontuo Precinct, Electoral District number 4, Nimba County. Those arrested are George Josephus, Menwengwe Sieden, Nelson Goma, Gomiete Gomi, Emmanuel Luo, Hanson Cooper, and Hakaton Mie. According to the police in Nimba, these individuals have been levied multiple charges ranging from obstruction of government's function, criminal mischief, theft of property, and tampering with public records. Others who were involved with the violent acts are said to be on the run. With regards to the payment of temporary staff, as at today, payrolls for Lower Monserrado, Maryland, River G, Riverses, Lower Lofa, Upper Monserrado, Margibi, Upper Nimba, Lower Nimba, and Grand Jide have been submitted, and payments are being processed for mobile money transfer for temporary staff who worked in these magisterial areas. Temporary staff from the remaining magisterial areas will be processed as soon as the payrolls are submitted. The following are tallied results from the magisterial offices across the country to date. For the presidency, Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 137,622, constituting 59.50%. We are George Mane CDC, votes obtained 50,296, constituting 21.75%. Okay, I will come back there. Gonglo Tiawan Say LPP, votes obtained 17,021, constituting 7.36%. These are the results from the presidential elections for Nimba County, 734 polling places of a total of 736 polling places, constituting 99.73%. I'll now move on to Grand Bassa County. We are George Mane CDC, votes obtained 46,651, constituting 44.31%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 36,214, constituting 34.40%. Alperton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 5,267, constituting 5.00%. Those were the results for Grand Bassa County, 405 polling places of a total of 405 polling places, constituting 100%. Now for Grand Cru County, 110 polling places of a total of 110 polling places, constituting 100%. We are George Mane, CDC, votes obtained 24,477, constituting 79.67%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 2,567, constituting 8.36%. Alperton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 1,136, constituting 3.70%. Those were the results for presidential for Grand Cru County. I now read you the National Presidential Progressive Tally Reports, consolidated. 5,888 polling places of a total of 5,890 polling places, constituting 99.97%. Alperton Junior Edward W. GDM, votes obtained 40,262, constituting 2.20%. Boyka Joseph N. UP, votes obtained 796,513, constituting 43.34%. Brown Junior Allen Ara, LRP, Votes obtained, 15,602, constituting 0.85%. Cummings Alexander B., CPP. Votes obtained, 29,612, constituting 1.61%. Fremont Simeon C.M., MPC. Votes obtained, 13,198, constituting 0.72%. Gonglo Tiawan Se, LPP. Votes obtained, 26,391, constituting 1.44%. Kamara Senior Lucini F. Alcup. Votes obtained, 35,984, constituting 1.96%. Kiamu David GB, DPPL. Votes obtained, 5,084, constituting 0.28%. Collie Alexander N. RNC. Votes obtained, 4,398, constituting 0.24%. Kuyate Sheikh A. LFM. Votes obtained, 5,097, constituting 0.28%. Kroma Bendu Alema, Independent. Votes obtained, 5,979, constituting 0.33%. Miller Richard Say, LFP. Votes obtained, 2,878, constituting 0.16%. Moneyback Clarence K. Lino. Votes obtained, 5,298, constituting 0.29%. Morris Robert Friends, Independent. Votes obtained, 3,361, constituting 0.18%. Nyanti Sarah Beslow, all. Votes obtained, 3,643, constituting 0.20%. Twitter William Ware, DNA. Votes obtained, 11,183, constituting 0.61%. Turner Joseph Tom, NLP. Votes obtained, 9,812, constituting 0.54%. We are George Manning, CDC. Votes obtained, 803,956, constituting 43.84%. Wapo Jeremiah Z. Votes obtained, 9,146, constituting 0.50%. Yofi Luther N. Rebuilders. Votes obtained, 6,478, constituting 0.35%. Total valid votes, 1,833,875, constituting 100%. Total invalid votes, 114,610. Total votes, 1,948,485. And that ends the National Presidential Progressive Tally Report Consolidated. I now invite my colleague, Commissioner Awa, to read senatorial and representative results.
Good afternoon. I will be reading for you the reports. Reference Nema County, Electoral District 4 and 9, and also the Senate. We commenced with the Senate. Progressive Tally Report Consolidated. Senate, Thursday, October 19. Nema County, 734 polling places of the total of 736 polling places, constituting 99.73%. Yoming Prince Johnson, MDR. Votes obtained, 127,854, constituting a valid vote of 54.83%. Tyron Junior Yang, independent. Votes obtained 56,632, constituting the valid votes of 24.29%. G. Roland Duo, CDC, votes obtained 19,991, constituting the valid votes of 8.57%. That concludes the Senate for Nimba County. We proceed to the House of Representatives, reference district number 4. Kagon Gompu L, CDC, votes obtained 7,585, constituting the valid votes of 28.93%. Mancier Senior Ernest M, MDR, votes obtained 7,325, constituting the valid votes of 27.94%. Wanu Orlando M, NDC, votes obtained 2,036, constituting the valid votes of 7.77%. We proceed to Electoral District 9, Nimba County. 75 polling places of the total of 75 polling places, constituting 100%. Wongweta Ze, independent, votes obtained 6,538, constituting the valid votes of 29.50%. Gwekolo Johnson N, CDC, votes obtained 4,209, constituting the valid votes of 18.99%. Dekpa Gombe O, MDR, votes obtained 3,055, constituting the valid votes of 13.78%. And that concludes the reading for Nimba County Electoral District and 4 and 9. And for the Senate, Madam Chair, I duly submit.
Thank you, Commissioner. We now call on we now invite Commissioner Sayer to read the Senate and representative elections results. I'm sorry.
We are done with Senate yesterday with Maserati, so representative. Maserati County, Electoral District 2. 128 polling places out of 128 polling places reporting 100%. Sekou Sarafunde Kane, UP, votes obtained 9,965, constituting 22.36%. Nimnen Doyen J, independent, votes obtained 9,432, constituting 21.17%. Musa A. Sharif, NDP, votes obtained 7,502, constituting 16.83%. Electoral District 3, Maserati County. 106 polling places out of 106 polling places, constituting 100%. Sumo Koli Mobile, ALP, votes obtained 8,979, constituting 23.89%. Patrick Kumaya, independent, votes obtained 6,997, constituting 18.89%. 0.61%. CB Bachel, UP, votes obtained 5,987, constituting 15.93%. Those are the reports, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Show me how to work this thing. Thank you very much, Commissioner. And I invite Commissioner Gay, who will read Senate and Representative results.
Progressive starting post consolidated Grand Bassa County. 405 polling places of the total 405 polling places, 100%. Finlay Bezanga M, independent. Votes obtained 55,629%, 52.24. Bagbe Janje, CDC, votes obtained 25,384%, 23.84. Harris Magdalene G, independent, votes obtained 12,396%, 11.64. That was for Senate. We'll go to Electoral District 2, Grand Bassa County. 84 polling places of the total 84 polling places, 100%. Banks J. Clarence T, independent. Votes obtained 5,486%, 28.23. Cowell Mary M, CDC. Votes obtained 4,870%, 25.06. Down South Thompson B, Ninum. Votes obtained 1,608%, 8.27. We'll go to Grand Bassa County, District number 5. 78 polling places of the total 78 polling places, 100%. Goshual the second Thomas A, CPP, votes obtained 4,292%, 22.63. Dennis C. Joa S, UP, votes obtained 4,243%, 22.37. Barnin Ben DS, CDC, votes obtained 3,745%, 19.75. Madam Chair, that concludes Grand Bassa County.
Thank you, Commissioner. We now invite Commissioner Basi Kwangmai for the Senate and Representative results from Grand Crew County.
Progressive tally report, consolidated Senate. 110 polling places of the total of 110 polling places, 100%, Grand Crew County. Chie Abo Tube, CDC, vote obtained 25,861, 25861, 82.55%. Do Vincento CPP, vote obtained 5,465, 5465, 17.45%. I enter Senate. Move to Electoral District number 1. 53 polling places of the total of 53 polling places, 100%. Electoral District number 1. Bawe Senior Nathaniel N, CPP, vote obtained 3,039, 3039, 19.90%. Bo Alfred Sako Independent, vote obtained 2,728, 2728, 17.86%. Wilson Freckles LTP, vote obtained 2,310. 2310, 15.13%. That ends Grand Crew County, Madam Chair. My oversight.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Pangmai. Let me say that we will continue to update results as they become available for the remaining counties and remaining positions. However, the rerun in District 4 in Nimba County in the 2 polling places in Precinct Bell Lontuo will be counted, tallied, and collated before the announcement of the final outcome of the presidential, senatorial, and representative elections of the 10th October 2023 process. And now we take your questions. So today we take 5.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Commissioner, for the hard work thus far. My name is Achid Boan, and I report for Today Liberia Television. Madam Commissioner, with all of those mistakes and technical errors we have been observing since the pronouncement of provisional and progressive tally reports for the general and presidential elections. Now that it is glaring that there is a possible second round or rerun in the presidential election, what assurance can you give the Liberian people to avoid those mistakes that were in the past?
I don't know what mistakes you are referring to, but I can generally say that the Commission will announce the final outcome of these elections when we conduct the elections in the 2 polling places and the results are made available through counting, tallying, and collation.
Yeah, some of those mistakes I was like trying to reference was the fact that there are so many allegations that those assigned to serve as pool NEC staffers, the ES, POS, many of them were like people claims that they were one way or the other members of certain political party. Like the case in Grand Cayman County where ES and election supervisor was arrested for changing of election results. The fact of so many technical errors from the website of NEC, they delayed in coming to pronounce provisional results by the national election. These are all errors that are major errors that we observe during the first time. So that's why I'm saying that the assurance from the National Election Commission. So I just want to get reference to this error
All right, thank you so much. We assure you that we're on top of it.
Well, thank you, Madam Commissioner. My name is Aish Niba, and I report for KMTV. Beginning with Nimba County, listen to you. You came up with 137,622 in favor of the Unity Party, constituting 59.50%. But then you later came on to the CDC, and I heard you saying, "Oh, you're going to come back." Like you noticed an error when you were reading. So I beg you, can you please come back to that?
Yes, because I was notified that I should have began with the number of polling places, which is usually at the top. But I'm a human, so unintentional. That was skipped, and I started to read the results. So when I was informed, I said, I will come back to it. And I came back to it at the end. Nothing changed in anyone's votes or percentage. It's just that I did not start with where we normally begin.
Yes, so my name is Alex Atolami. I report for the University of Liberia Radio. Madam Chairperson, now that the police has reported to you that arrests have been made in connection to the incident in District 4 in Nimba County, did the investigation also establish as to which party or which candidate supporters carried out the act?
We don't have that information.
Madam Chair, my name is Omisi Johnson. I work with a local media organization, the Media Women's Human Rights. We'll be working in Electoral District 5 in Bonn. We are again there this year. I do not want to preempt until following your pronouncement, but there are indicators that a runoff is imminent. In that direction, the experience of the huge invalid votes, you also agree with me that one of the factors is insufficient civic voter education. So to address that, I'm appealing or suggesting to NEC on behalf of CSO and CBOs and also our target audience who are majority indigenous women, the invalid votes. Can NEC make the invalid votes available to CSOs, CVOs, including the media, so that we begin civic voter education in advance while we are waiting for the final pronouncement from NEC?
The conclusion of these elections, we normally have lessons learned, but we also put in place a mechanism where a survey is done to determine the causes of the invalid votes. This we have run before, and we plan to do at the end of these elections. Last question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Gerald, coordinator and writer for Front Page Africa News Organization. You name 3 counties that have already completed: Bassa, Maserado, Grand Cru counties, but you didn't declare winners today. I don't know why. And could you
That will
please,
be done in our next report,
declare the
sir.
winner? And then it is imminent. There will be the runoff. We have just 2 polling places, 99%. We want to know, what is the budget for a runoff, and how prepared is the commission in generating this budget to conduct the runoff within the constitutional time frame?
I will need to look at the budget to know what is in there for the runoff. It's not in front of me, but I can assure you we have received more than 99.9% of the money to run if there should be a runoff. Thank you very much for coming. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, everyone. And tomorrow will be here again. Thank you for coming, members of the full First State. Thank you very much again.
Okay, folks. So you just listened to the NEC's press briefing for today. That was led or headed by the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam Deviata Brown Lasana. Let me now join Nelson Collet, who's currently there in the conference room of the National Elections Commission. Good afternoon to you, Nelson. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon, Diamond, and good afternoon to Liberians across the world who are following us now live on Store TV and Fabric TV, Super TV, and all of the other online platforms, as well as the radio. Diamond, are you
So
there?
today, as per the observation, I'm here, Nelson. If you can hear me, we can continue this conversation. As per
Okay.
the presence of the media in the hall, if you look at those in attendance, the attendees, did you have a reduced number as compared to when this entire press briefing started on Wednesday of last week?
Certainly, Diamond, the number has significantly reduced, not just in media, but even in terms of the number of observers who were here present from the very start of this report, the series of press conferences at the National Elections Commission. And now the numbers has reduced. As you know, Diamond, that section of the hall is dedicated to the observers, both local and international, all of those people who come here to take part of the hearing, to witness the hearing. But today, as you look through that corridor, we had just few people, less than 2 rows of this particular segment of the hall was occupied, and very few, and I mean very few observers were here. In terms of the presence of the media as well, it has reduced. I spoke with a couple of media colleagues even before this particular press conference today, and what they told me was that they were not going to be here today based on the fact that the result is almost completed, and so everyone have their eyes now fixed on what's going to be coming from the National Elections Commission, especially with respect to the runoff and all of that. So very few media outlets, and the whole is is not is not as jam packed as it were the previous days when the NIC decided to carry out this pronouncement.
Now, earlier during the press briefings, the commissioner was asked, not today, some days back, she was asked
Yeah.
whether or not the commission is prepared for a runoff, and she said yes, they have received, whatever allotment, budgetary allotment that will be
Yeah.
needed for a runoff. Today, she was asked what is the budget. Then she stated that she will have to go and confirm what the budget is, but then went on to say they've received 99% of what the budget should be. So if you've received 99% of what the amount is, how come you do not know what the amount is in terms of the budget for the runoff elections? How did you compute that you have received 99%?
Yeah, and Diamond, that's exactly the big question. But as you know, as we went down gradually on the press conference and everything here, or the results coming from the National Elections Commission, there is a decline in the number of questions that are being accepted here for from the media. So not just today. Some days ago, I mean, a couple of days ago, let's say about 4 or 5 days ago, the next chairperson was asked this very question as to how prepared is the National Elections Commission to conduct another election in the case of a second round. And she stated that the NEC was prepared. And then today, our media colleague from Front Page Africa reinforced that question in terms of the budget and all of that, how prepared is the NEC? And today she then admitted, like she did on the previous day, that the National Elections Commission is prepared budgetarily to be able to conduct the second round that is glaring now that let's say the two major political parties are going to. But again, the big disappointment was the fact that she could not state how much exactly is this particular budget. And it happened that his question was just the last of 5 questions that were permitted for today. So with that situation, there wasn't any room for a follow-up or any further question with respect to the budget line, especially as the National Elections Commission chairperson has now told us that they are up to 99% ready budgetary-wise, but to know exactly what the budget is, there was no room or space created for that based on the fact that the question was just the last of 5 questions that were allowed for today.
What about the security presence? We did see a heavy security presence at the beginning of these press conferences on Wednesday of last week. And
Yeah.
up to today, what can you say? That presence in terms of number, in terms of equipment, in terms of machineries, still maintained, or there's been a reduction in the presence of the security there at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission, as per your observation?
Well, Diamond, in terms of security presence, it remains the same. It remains the same. In the hall, on the first day, we had about three officers, three police officers assigned here in the hall. And yes, we saw similar thing today. And even out, at the avenue right outside or right before the National Elections Commission headquarters, we also have a very good deployment of state security there. We have members of the joint security. Just as I made my way in here, I saw folks from the Liberia Immigration Service, the Liberia National Police. They were all out there, well armed, and providing the kind of security that we've seen in the previous days. So as you know, The National Elections Commission is situated right on 9th Street, this avenue here on 9th Street. There's a portion of this avenue that faces the Atlantic Ocean or the beach, as we may call it, and there's another angle that faces the Tottenham Boulevard. So from both sides, you have barricades that have been, the walls that have been built up, something like a checkpoint where every single person wanting to enter this avenue will have to present some sort of a pass. Either you present your accreditation, but even as a media person, if you have an identification card, you will still have to present this tag indicating that you have been accredited by the National Elections Commission to be within this vicinity, especially at this time, or to provide coverage for this election. So yes, we have a huge presence of security out there. And basically, these are some of the things that they're checking out on to make sure that people making use of this corridor are actually supposed to be here. But aside from that, another reason why I think there consistently there is this consistent presence of the members of the joint security here too, Diamond, is because um, of the fact that the results have started coming in. And like one of the commissioners said yesterday, Commissioner Brakai Dukley, complaints have already started dropping at the feet of the National Elections Commission with respect to the results that are coming in. So there are different ways that those different political parties and especially those defeated candidates will go about it. And so like today, I was just telling you of air, of record that there was a protest right before the National Elections Commission headquarters here in Sinco. So my understanding, what I gathered is that some members of residents of District 8 who are supporters of Representative Moses Akaras Gray had gathered there demanding a recount following this entire process that saw Representative Moses Akaras Gray of District 8 being defeated massively by Prince Toh of the Unity Party. So they were out there. I saw them with placards demanding recount and all of that. And it was a bit confrontational. And I saw that the police was seriously engaged with that. They had several layers of walls that they created, trying to prevent those protesters from entering the premises of the National Elections Commission. So yes, and because of these kinds of situations that we have, there will obviously be a serious deployment of security presence here. There will be this huge presence of the security here, I think, until the entire process is over. Because I tell you, Diamond, even hereafter, there is there is this hearing process that's going to go on. The next hearing officers will be here. They're going to be hearing cases. Aside from that, some of those people who are still not satisfied, as you know, Diamond, will be taking their cases to the Supreme Court of Liberia, which happens to be the final arbiter of justice in the Republic of Liberia. So it's a whole long process. And I think till we get at that point where the next president is inaugurated, the 54th legislature, goes back to the 55th. In fact, the 55th legislature goes back to session. There is going to be active activities going on here. Either it is hearing or maybe protestation or what have you, until this entire process is concluded. So I think that's why there is this huge presence of security here, even at this stage of the process.
Now, talking about complaints, as you earlier mentioned, one of such complainants is Chief Moses Colley, who contested on the CDC's ticket in Lofa County for the senatorial position, now being vacated by outgoing Senator Steve Zago. He has filed a complaint at the NEC's local office demanding a rerun in 9 out of the 424 polling places there in Lofa. The margin between he and the now declared winner by the NEC, Momo Saros. I'm trying to get the figures for you quickly, but all right. So Momo Saros attained 37,621 votes, with Moses Colley with 37,200 votes. So he has now filed a complaint stating that a rerun should be done in 9 of the 424 polling places. That's just added information. But let's go to the issue of the invalid votes. As of yesterday, 114,000 invalid votes announced by the National Elections Commission. There was a question from a colleague of ours who asked the NEC to make available those invalid votes so as to continue educating our people on how and how not to vote. But the chairperson responded by saying after the entire process is concluded, they will do a survey and a report will be given. Is that late in terms of what curbing invalid votes meant to be, other than waiting for the entire process to be concluded and still you have people voting massively when it comes to getting invalid votes, Nelson?
You know, when it comes to the issue of invalid votes, I think it's one of the alarming aspects of this entire process, because Diamond, as it stands, and that is why even the question, the segment of this entire press conference, to some extent, it doesn't get to be extended, and it has gotten to the attention of some media colleagues as well, because initially they would take up to 10 questions, but now it's just 5 or maybe less and it's done. But this issue of invalid votes remains to be, continue to be an alarming situation, because 2 days ago, the invalid votes was at 112,875. Yesterday, it entered 14,000. Today, we're talking about 114,000, sorry. Today, we're talking about 114,610 invalid votes, just for invalid votes. And another thing that's even alarming about the invalid vote is the fact that the National Elections Commission is not stating exactly where these invalid votes are coming from. Take, for example, the results are being read for Nima County. Maybe 15 out of 18 polling places, for example, we have this number of total votes, we have this number of invalid votes. All of these details are not being taken into consideration. And these are issues that have made the issue of invalid votes even more complicated, based on the fact that the regions, the counties, the electoral districts, and all of those things are not being captured, to further enhance transparency in this entire process. And that Diamond has left a lot of people to speculate now that invalid votes are being created or are popping up from those counties that were considered or are considered to be the stronghold of the CDC. And this is happening because there is the UP, and then some of the UP supporters are saying that these invalid votes are predominantly the votes that are supposed to be going to them, but they were declared invalid based on XYZ reasons. So I think the best thing for the National Elections Commission to do is to be able to do a breakdown of these invalid votes. Where are they coming from? What constitutes invalid votes? Further explanation, further understanding needs to be established as to how these invalid votes are coming up, because we are at a stage right now that where we've completed this phase of the process, but the next stage is going to be like simple majority. All right. Just a single vote could make someone the next president of Liberia. All right.
Of course.
So that's where the issue of invalid votes becomes very important, very significant. And every single communication around the issue of invalid votes will have to be carried out effectively. Because if anything goes wrong, what we call the invalid votes might just be at the disadvantage of someone who should legitimately be the next president of our country. And that's why I think the issue of invalid vote is something that should not be taken for granted.
Well said by you, Nelson Colette. And again, the issue of invalid vote has got to do with civic voter education. I listened to some experts in that field talk about allowing the ink to dry on your thumb for a while before placing it, on the ballot paper, so as to avoid ink dripping other parts of the ballot that might render your vote invalid. And as you rightly said, we need to know what constitutes these invalid votes. Are people voting more than once? Are people voting multiple times on a single ballot paper? Is it because of ink pouring on other parts of the ballot paper? Is it because they're not being stamped by NEC officials? And what constitutes these invalid votes, as you rightly said? The data is needed to educate our people more. But let's move on.
And more so, just before we move on, Diamond, and more so, more so, there's got to be public information. And I know that the National Elections Commission is the custodian of most of these documents, and to some extent, they decide how and when they want to release them. But to a larger extent, I think we need to have a clearer understanding of where bulk of these invalid votes are coming from, in the spirit of transparency, and from the backdrop of ensuring that this process is carried on the right way, because knowing where majority of these invalid votes are coming from would then be able to create the space where the National Elections Commission, the political actors will now start to direct their energies when it comes to civic and voter education in these areas where majority of the invalid votes are coming from. But as it stands, as per the public records we have, uh, there is a limited, information and understanding with respect to where these invalid votes are actually deriving from.
In the interest of those that are contesting, especially going into this runoff, should political parties to the runoff, the CDC and the Unity Party, focus their
Yeah.
attention more on civic voter education, in teaching their people how to vote, for their votes to constitute a valid vote. Because at the end of the day, you've got it all to lose. Though the NEC will come up and tell you that, okay, we'll do a survey after the entire process is done, you'll be licking your wounds in a corner, sitting and wondering why you didn't do so. Do you think political parties that are going to this runoff should institute a rigorous education for people to know how to vote across the country?
Well, from a broader perspective, I think that is what the case should be. I think these political parties, not just the national elections, though the National Elections Commission is flawed with the responsibility, they are paid with taxpayers' money, they contract CBOs and all of those different organizations, those local NGOs to aid in the process of these voter awareness, civic and voter education. But yes, from a broader perspective, I think that's what should be happening now. Even the political parties should get involved. The religious community should get involved when it comes to the civic and voters education. When it comes to that aspect, the NEC, to a larger extent, failed miserably to adequately educate the population as to how to do this process. You know, Diamond, that up to, up to 6, 7, 8 months into this particular process, there weren't jingles on the radio to educate the people on how.
So we lost Nelson
To
for a bit.
surface. And I was saying, Diamond, are you getting me? Am I on?
Yes, you are. We lost you for a bit, but you're good now.
Okay, so I was saying that you know that for a very good time, about six months plus into this process, the National Elections Commission was not seen making jingles and all of those educational messages available until very late into the time before we started to see jingles. Yes, media people raised concerns about some of these things. So from a broader perspective, I think this is what should be happening. Next, the political actors, I think they should also get involved with this. But then, Diamond, it depends who's benefiting from the invalid votes. That's the next aspect. It depends who's benefiting. This whole issue of invalid votes, we're talking about 114,000. The energy that's going to be directed towards this, especially from the angle of the political parties, will be determined by who those political parties are that are benefiting from it, and who are those that are at the disadvantageous position right now when it comes to the invalid votes. Now, if majority of these invalid votes are coming from counties that are considered the stronghold of, say, for example, the Unity Party, if the Unity Party has more invalid votes coming from a stronghold, then it is an issue of concern for the Unity Party. For the CBC, on the other hand, it might not be that much of a concern because, from a larger standpoint, from all of that, they will, those invalid votes cost across, but their opponents tend to lose more because it's in a stronghold. If more of these invalid votes are coming from the stronghold of the CDC, then it rings bell to them, and that's why I think even the issue of the documents, the public records on where specifically these invalid votes are coming from are very necessary, especially as we go for the runoff.
Okay. Nelson, today the press conference was shorter than usual because there was just a small amount of information to be released by the NEC today. We're about to wrap up earlier.
Yeah.
Then I think this is the earliest we're wrapping up since we
Yeah.
began this process on Wednesday, the 11th of October in Liberia. But anything you want to add up quickly before I let go of you and your team there at the headquarters of the National Elections Commission?
Well, just to wrap up, as it stands now, as per the results released so far, just a quick recap on this. It puts the Unity Party at 43.34%, 43.34%, while the CDC is at 43.84%. So the difference right now is 7,443 votes. That's the difference now. And I think going back to where we were, that speaks to why even the issue of invalid votes is very alarming, because who knows, 114,000, just half of that number could put any of these political parties in a better position to be able to maybe go very close or perform very well or be in the lead as we move to a second round. Yeah, so so far that's what that is that's all for now from my end. And there's a precinct in Lima County. I think you already know that that voting is going to be taking place on Friday. Precinct Bill Lantou in Lima County District 4. Next chairperson said arrests have been made as well with respect to the individuals who were in the middle of that situation, talking about those who tampered with the ballot and the ballot boxes and all of that. Yeah, and so this is where we are, Diamond. So we look forward to seeing what happens tomorrow or the days to come here at the National Elections Commission.
Okay, Nelson, many thanks to you and your entire team. You guys are highly appreciated. Team members comprising Cholople, Sylvester Cholople, Sylvester Wori, Ernest Binda, Jurassic Joe, and headed by Nelson Colette. Chokon Flama is included. Aaron Kuban is always a member of that team. So I'd love to tell you thank you. Thank you, guys. This is how we come to a wrap for today's presentation of the 2023 Elections Updates 360. Many thanks to Nelson and his team. Thank you and bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, Diamond. Thanks a lot.
Thank you as well to Haji Masale. Haji Masale is our editor-in-chief here at Spoon House. I'd love to say thank you to Haji Masale and the rest of the guys forming part of this team, and to you, our many listeners, thousands and tens of thousands of listeners and viewers across the world who've made Spoon Network your home of authentic information, factual information, real-time information as well. We appreciate you guys. It's a wrap on behalf of all of us. We'll be back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.